Good time of day to you, friends. My name is Charlie, and I'm here to talk to you about video games for a video game video. I think that's what I'm going to keep calling these. I want to talk to you about empathy in video games. When you think of video games, you don't typically think of empathy. You think of isolation if you're playing alone, competitiveness if you're playing with other people, occasionally cooperativeness. I think video games have been doing it for a while, and I've been more open to it recently. Maybe it's COVID, maybe it's me getting older and sappy. But to have empathy for different types of people or people like yourself or different walks of life, I don't think that gets talked about enough. You get talked about cool story beats or bad characterization, stereotypes, that sort of thing. But the process of a video game, spending 12 to 60 hours with a type of person, if it's written with a point of view and not just to be a blank slate, you can really get inside their heads and learn some new things about the world and yourself and how you interpret things. I want to talk about two games. First game I want to talk about is the Life is Strange series, mostly girl protagonists. And it was really interesting. I resonate with high school stories. I feel like that's where I didn't have quite the development path I wanted. And so, like, if there's a story set in high school, I'm like kind of more interested. Like, I don't play RPGs, but I played Persona, that sort of thing. But this one, you spent time with your protagonist, just a girl who develops a power to rewind some time and explore a place where she had left a couple years ago and she came back to, in different types of relationships. And because it was a slower game, because there wasn't much action involved, you really, it's kind of like a transcendental style storytelling. Like, you kind of have to lean in to stay engaged, even though it's like a very low-key game. And it got me to identify with this specific girl's story. And that's not something that I've had shared in that way. It wasn't all jokes. It wasn't all drama. It was kind of emo. And it got me to see things in a different way. It made me identify with them and think about people and young kids a different way. So it was a really cool way that empathy kind of flowed through a story and reached me in a way I wasn't expecting. Next up is Yakuza 7, Like a Dragon. This is a turn-based RPG in what was formerly a brawler-style game where you play a Yakuza, you go on wild side missions. This is the first one I've actually completed. I've always been interested, but what kept me playing the game, all like 40 hours, was your main character is a Yakuza, but he's also a very optimistic dummy. He rushes into situations he has nothing to do with, and there's not a ton of choices determined there, but because he's such an optimistic dummy, he collects people. He collects people in his life from different backgrounds, like a homeless guy, someone who's at like a hostess bar, that sort of thing. I think you do sort of the same thing in other games, but the story is like dense, and there's just a lot of time listening to people share their side of things, and then this dummy reacting like a child would who has no context. That's insane. We got to go stop him. That's sort of heroic, but he's not Superman. He's a dummy who can fight and was thrown out of a Yakuza. So it got me to identify with these weirdos. These are people. We're going to be hanging around with each other for a bit. And so we got to make the best of it and get to know and identify with parts of that character that are similar and start to understand parts of that character that aren't. So what I'm saying is video games can solve racism and prejudice. They can, but, and in fact, they often do the opposite. But it's cool when you play a video game and you just want to go outside and listen a little bit more or talk a little bit more to people. So that's all I got. Thank you for watching this video game video. My name is Charlie. I have like short films and blogs about my kids on this channel. Give me a comment or a like or a down like, because you can't see dislikes anymore.